Since the beginning of all this, I have not granted any interview. So I never for once came out to say my husband did not beat me. It was in 2013, and it was about news that broke out at that period that my husband beat me, and we had to do that video at that time. But a few weeks ago, I never came out to say my husband did not beat me. He actually beat me. He did beat me. Yes, he does. Because I just wanted a home. Because I loved him. Because every time he beats me, he begs. He gets family members to beg me. He gets his close friends to beg me. He gets my close friends to beg me, and he promises that he's gonna change. But he never did. I prayed. I fasted. I hoped he was gonna change. But he never did. He never did. My husband is a violent person. He's someone who, when he gets angry, gets physical. So it's not just about beating me, his wife, Mercy. It's about him getting physical with anybody when he gets violent. He has actually beaten a house help of mine before, Oluchi, that I was even outside the country when that incident happened, and the girl had to go to the police station close to us, that's the police station, to get the police to arrest him. So my husband he's just the kind of person that when he's angry, he gets very violent and he gets physical. And then again, aside the fact that I just wanted a home, and because I loved him, and because I hoped and prayed that it was going to change, I stayed because of my children. I didn't want to be moving from one man to the other. I stayed because of my children. Then again, a lot of people look up to me. Oh, they say, oh, Mercy, you're a role model. Oh, we respect you because you're married. You know, so I didn't want to disappoint a lot of people. Yes, people watching me right now can say I was foolish to have endured everything. But God knows. God sees my heart that I just wanted a home. You know, and you know, a lot of people already have opinion about actresses. You know, they already have the opinion that, oh, we don't want to stay under a man's roof, and you know, a lot of things. So it just wasn't easy for me to walk away. It wasn't easy for me to walk away. That was why I stayed. After this whole thing happened, I met with my husband's younger brother, and I said, look, this man is just gonna kill me one day. He's not ready to get help. He's not ready to, you know, maybe go for therapy, you know, in regards to his anger, so, you know, he can know how to manage his anger and all that. So I told him, I said, look, what I'm gonna do now, because this last beating was brutal. He almost killed me. He almost killed me. I actually thought I was gonna die. So I said to him that I don't feel safe anymore. You know, for a very long time, I've been living in fear in that house, because any little argument turns to, you know, me being beaten up by my husband, even right in front of my children and my domestic staff, you know, even neighbors, every time they hear us, you know, fighting and all that. I just got tired of the whole thing. This wasn't one. I was just scared for my life because a lot of people have died in that process. I actually thought I was gonna die this last one. So I just wanted to feel safe. That was why I moved my things out. This is it. I'm still coughing blood, and blood is still coming out from my nose. This is like 4 weeks after the incident, and this blood is just, at times it's even way more than this. I'm bleeding internally. That's how brutal it was. It broke the orbit, you know, where the eyes is, and the doctor said I need surgery for me to be able to see properly. Okay, maybe I should just tell you briefly what happened, what led to the fight that day. A day before Easter Sunday, I discovered that my husband was sleeping with a girl who actually is or was like a sister to me. We were very close, and I was bitter. I wasn't happy about it because that wasn't the first time my husband was doing it. My husband has slept with a lot of my PAs. My husband has done a lot of things. Yes, I endured it, and it wasn't easy. But because I hoped and prayed was going to change, that was why I endured it. So I was very bitter because he promised me that he wasn't going to do it anymore. That was on Saturday, so we had a huge fight on that Saturday. We had an argument, but at a point I had to keep quiet because I didn't want him to get physical. So the following day was a Sunday, which was Easter Sunday, and I cooked. I made yam and fish stew. The children ate. I served him myself, you know, and I told him I was going for Bosse Alao's father's burial, which I had informed him before that day. So I just told him that Easter Sunday was the burial, and I wanted to attend. At first it was like, oh, that I'm supposed to stay home with the kids and all that. And I was like, I promised this girl that I was going to attend, that if he doesn't mind, we can actually go together because I don't plan staying long at the party. So he said no problem, that I can go ahead and that like I can go for the party. And I went to my designer's place, Lumini, because anytime I'm going for events, I usually go to a place to dress up. So if there's any form of adjustment that needs to be done on the outfit I'm wearing, she'll do it. So I went to Lumini's place, and my makeup artist was there. My colleague Mide too was there because she was also, you know, attending that party. And we got to the party very late because we didn't leave on time. We got to the party at about 6:30, and by the time we got there, the party was already, you know, they were already rounding up, and we spent a little time and we went back to Lumini's place. So when we got to Lumini's place, Mide went home, and I was with Lumini and Ayomide, Beauty Fix, my makeup artist. At a point, my husband called me on the phone, and it was like I should come and pick him up, you know, at his office on my way home. And I told him, I was like, Larry, please, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. You're choking me. Like, go home. You can go home. I'll go home soon. Like, I will get home soon. They should just leave me alone. That was what I told him on the phone. Okay, so he called me on the phone and asked me to come pick him up at his office. And I was like, no, that I wasn't going to come and pick him up because I was still angry, you know, as a result of what I found out, as a result of him sleeping with a girl, I was still very upset about it, which I found out a day before, you know, that Easter Sunday. So I was like, Larry, just leave me alone, just let me be. I'll go home, you know. When I told him I was going to go home soon, I cut the call, and he called me back shortly after, and he was like, oh, you have to come and pick me up. Where are you? I told him I was at Luminis place, and he started shouting. He was like, what do I mean I'm at Luminis place? I should come and pick him up. He was shouting on top of his voice, and it was at that point I knew he was getting angry. I said, okay, no problem. I cut the phone and I told Lumini that I have to go. My husband is getting angry. I don't want any wahala, because if he gets very angry and I get home, that, you know, I know what, you know, it's going to be, you know, in for me. When I get home, I know he was going to beat me up, because when he gets very angry and we have an argument, and the argument gets to a certain level, it will just get very physical. So at that point I stood up, and Lumini walked me, you know, to the door. When we got to the door, we heard a car park, and instantly I told Lumini that I'm sure that's my husband, because I know him very well. I said, I'm sure that's my husband. Yeah, that I've entered while loud. I don't want any wala. At that point, he had gotten to the door, so immediately I opened the door. Larry beats me mercilessly. He kept punching, slapping. He was hitting my head on the wall. He just kept beating me. Everybody was there. Lumini's house help was there. Lumini's younger sister was there. Beauty Fix, my makeup artist, was also there. You know, everybody was confused. I was begging him. I was like, Larry, what did I do to you? Why would you be beating me this much? I was scared he was going to kill me. He kept punching. He kept kicking me. He was hitting my head on the wall. And he was saying he was going to kill me, that he was going to damage my eyes and or my face, so that people will not even call me for acting job. You know, at a point he told my makeup artist that by the time he damages my face, when I bring my face for her to you know, make up, she's just gonna say, no, I can't do this face, because the face has been damaged beyond what she can. You know, it was just going on. It was like someone who was possessed. I was crying. I was scared. I was begging him. At a point I had to tell him in Yoruba that Larry, mama, be more for I had to tell him that Larry, mama, be more for what is it? Can you watch it for? I was so scared. I begged them to do video. I was just scared. Blood was coming at a point. Blood was coming out from my nose. It didn't stop. It kept hitting me. When Lumini and Ayomide, my makeup artist, saw that blood was coming out from my nose, I told them to take me to the hospital. That I didn't want to die. He said, oh, okay. He said, okay, no problem. He would take me to the hospital. When he saw that Lumini put me in the car, he now said that if he sees any one of them in his car, that he was just going to beat them up, that they should come down from the car. At that point, I quickly came down from the car. I was scared. I didn't even come. I had to like stumble out of the car. I was weak. I was dying. Blood was gushing out from my nose. And he came to where I was. He matched me on the face. He kept beating me. And I didn't know what I did to him. So it was that point I now told him, I was shouting, help, help. I told Lumini that, Lumini, you have securities at your estate gates. Call them. Otherwise, this man is just going to kill me, because I don't know what I did to him. It was at that point she ran to the gate to go and call the security people at the gate. When they got there, they actually had to walk him out of the estate, because they were like, okay, we don't know what happened to you and your wife, but this is not the right place. This is not the proper way to do it. Just walk out. But I was bleeding. So apparently Ayomide had called her husband, and I think Lumini called one of Larry Gentry, my husband's friend, Abamog. So they all came there. They all got there at the same time, and they had to take me to the hospital. I rode in Ayomide's husband's car, and they took me to Solid Rock Hospital at Ojodu. I actually thought I was going to die, because the blood was just coming out from my nose, from my mouth. I was just so scared, my eyes. And he followed us to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, he just kept shouting he was going to kill me. And I didn't know what I did to him. That was what happened on that day. At the hospital, the doctor gave me a drip and they tried to stop the blood that was coming out from my nose. They gave me injections and they stuffed my nose with cotton wool to stop the blood from coming out. That was on a Monday. The following day was on a Monday. So Lumini and I think Beautifix and her husband, they were all with me, and I was there till I think at about 8 o'clock. I had to remove the drip myself because I just felt I needed to report the case to the police because I thought I was gonna die. So I told Lumini to take me to the police station, and she took me to Area F police station where I made the reports, and immediately I made the reports. I made the area commander, and I also reported this. I think there's an arm of the human rights, something at the Area F police station. So I wrote a petition, and the area commander called him because I gave her his phone number. They called me, tried to reach him, and she said the ASP, the police officer in charge of the case, should go with me to invite him to the police, to the police station, so he can also tell his own part of the story. Or so I went to his hotel at Oregon with the police people, and when we got there, we didn't meet him. He was not there. We met two of his brothers, and the police officer, that's Amaka, ASP Amaka, called him on the phone, and he said he wasn't in Ibadan, he wasn't in Lagos, and I was in Ibadan, I was in Lagos, which I know is a very big lie because the thing just happened, and there's no way he could have just gone to Ibadan that early in the morning, and I don't know what he went to Ibadan to do. So we didn't get him on that Monday, and when we didn't see him at his hotel, we went back to the police station, and the police officers gave me a note to go to the general hospital to treat myself. So I went to the general hospital, and I saw a doctor at the surgical and emergency department, of the general hospital, and they treated me. They gave me drip, they gave me injections, but blood was still coming out, and he gave me antibiotics to stop it, and that was it. So the doctor at the general hospital gave me a note to go to St. Solomon Healthcare Center to go and do some series of scans so they can determine what exactly it was damaged or why I was bleeding, and if I had any bleeding internally. So I did a lot of tests. I did a brain CT scan, I did chest scan, I did a lot of tests. I have never cheated on Larry, and he knows it. And that's the most painful part of all this. If he had shown a bit of remorse after what he did to me, maybe I'm a woman, and he did not. Instead, he went online, started granting, interviews, started fabricating lies, hideous lies just to tarnish my image. He went on saying, I've cheated on him several times, and that I never cheated on him, never. He came up with those lies so as to maybe get people's sympathy, or maybe to justify, what he did. And that's why I told him to come out with proof. It is not enough that you're alleging that he did this. You should come out with it. He should, show his proof. And he said a lot of things. He said a lot of things, and he said a lot of damaging things. And the day I read those things online, I was completely broken. I never knew I was married to my enemy, because only your enemy can do that. He lied I was mentally unstable, that I don't take care of my parents. He said a lot of things, that he has got me with men. He has done a lot of things. And all those things, they said he doesn't have a proof. He just said all those things so as to defame my character. I've never cheated on him, even as a single girl. When I was a single girl, before I got married, I never had any scandal. Anybody can Google it. I never had any scandal. So why would he now say that I was cheating on him with different men and none of this so-called, and none of these so-called relationships or whatever got out? Is it possible for someone like me to cheat on my husband several times and he kept catching me? Is it even possible? I have never cheated on you, Larry. If you're watching this, your conscience will judge you. I have been supporting you. A lot of people think I married you because of your money. They don't know the story. They don't know the story. They don't know anything. I read a lot of things online and I just shake my head because only God knows. Larry, I give you my money. A lot of times, I gave you my money just 2 months ago. I gave you money to buy tickets for your daughters, so as to fly your daughter who was on the sick bed abroad, Larry. I gave you 260,000 naira. That is just one of those times I've given you money. A lot of people think I married you because of your money. Larry, I know. People very close to us know. They know that it's not like you ever gave me money. Larry, you've never given me money to even shoot a movie. All the movies I've shot with my money, I've had to work hard. I had my child, I had my son through CS. I was on set not even up to 40 days after I had my baby because I needed the money. I don't know why someone who claims to love me will go to the extent of wanting to ruin my reputation, wanting to ruin my image, an image I have worked so very hard to build. Larry, the fact is that you beat me. You've always been beating me. Everybody knows it. 3 years ago, I took you to Area F where you signed an undertaking that you were not going to beat me again. It was 3 years ago. And ever since then, you've beaten me several times. Yes. I know people will say, oh, Mercy, you're a fool for staying that long. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool. Yes, I agree that I shouldn't have endured for that long. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool. But I'm just a woman who wanted a home. I'm just a woman who wanted to stay married. Yes, I did series of interviews where I praised you. I just couldn't come out and wash my dirty linens in public. I couldn't come out and tell people that, oh, this is what I'm going through. I couldn't come out to paint my husband in black. I couldn't. A lot of things I do by myself. I would actually give the credit to you, Larry. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool for doing that. But like Yorubas would say, I could not just come out and say, oh, my husband has been beating me. I could not just come out and say, oh, my husband is not financially okay. I could not come out and say, oh, I'm the one that's been giving my husband money. No, because I believed that a wise woman built her home, and I was ready to use everything I had to build my home and stay in that marriage. That was why I stayed that long. He has never caught me with any man. He has concocted a lot of lies, and yes, he said some people are pushing me. That's a lie. I know my husband very well. My husband lies a lot. I don't know if that is being disrespectful, but my husband tells a lot of lies. A lot of lies. During the course of our relationship, he has told me a whole lot of lies, which I later found out. A whole lot of lies. A whole lot of lies. A whole lot of lies. Like 4 years, I think 4 years ago or 3 years ago, my husband was in cell for close to a year, for over 7 months. I did not move anywhere. I did not go anywhere. I was in that house. He was in cell for over 7 months. I was in that house. I suffered. I was in the house. I was working back to back to take care of the children, pay the children's school fees, everything. I kept it all to myself. Why would I now want to leave him? Because as he claims, he says all this is makeup. This here right here is almost 4 weeks after the incident. And he says all this is makeup. I'm coughing blood. He says all this is makeup. If I had died, this man would have lied. He would have lied. Now I cannot see properly with this eye because he broke the orbit, and according to the doctor, some of the muscles, that's the eye muscles, are trapped in the broken orbit, and they have to do a surgery to release the muscles. Otherwise, I won't be able to see properly. This is what a man who is supposed to be my husband. This is what a man who is supposed to be my husband. This is what the father of my child did to me, yet he's not showing any form of remorse. Instead, he's sponsoring lies against me just to tarnish my image, because he has threatened to kill me. He has said all sorts. He has threatened to kill me if I dare to leave him. He has said he's going to damage my image. Like he said it in Yoruba, meaning, oh, you're the reputable, you're the one who has a name to protect, you're the one who has an image to protect. I'm going through pains. I cannot even see properly with these eyes. I can't look up. I can't see properly. Yet, instead of him to even show any kind of remorse, he isn't. So when this incident happened and I saw the way he was going about it, I went to the Lagos State, I think domestic violence and sexual, I think they have a section for such cases. I went to see the Commissioner for Women's Affairs, Mrs. letter.According, and I think that was about the 4th or the 5th day after the incident, or like a week after the incident. I went to see her and I told her everything. So they are on the case, and I also went to the office of the public defender. I saw Mrs. Salami and I explained everything to her, because my husband has been threatening me. I don't feel safe anymore. I don't feel safe with my kids. I feel he's just going to do, I feel he's going to send some people to kill me, because when I think on Thursday after the incident, I went home. I wanted to get some of my things, and my husband sent 3 thugs to the house to prevent me from taking anything from the house. I just wanted to get a few of my things, and he said he sent them to, and one of them actually almost beat me up. I had to run to Ojodu Grammar School police station. I got the police people there, and they came to the house and arrested the thugs my husband sent. So a man who can go to that extent, a man who can do all these things to me, after beating me and almost killing me, he can do anything. I'm scared for my life. I'm scared for my safety. I'm scared for my children's life. And right now the case is in court. it's not like, it is not in my place to put him in prison. No, I have a child for him. I don't want it to be said that, oh, she sent the father of our child to prison. I just want him. I just want him to know. I just want him I want him to face the consequence. I just want him to know the gravity of what he did to me. He has to. This man almost killed me. I don't know. What's next for me is I have to take very good care of myself. I'm still coughing blood. I'm still sneezing blood. I still have to do the surgery, so I have to do all that and make sure I am okay. That is what is next for me. I'm so sad right now. I'm so overwhelmed. All this thing is happening. I never imagined it was going to get to this point. I married him because I loved him genuinely from the bottom of my heart. I don't know why he's doing all this to me. I don't know. I still want to believe that there's more to it, because this is not the man I married. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Yes, I knew he gets violent when he's angry and all that, but I just prayed and hope he would, I don't know. I'm just so sad with everything. I'm so overwhelmed that all this is happening. I don't know. Yes, my husband accuses me of dating everybody. He has insecurity problem. If he sees anybody close to me, he would accuse me of dating the person. He sees, he has insecurity problem. That I noticed. And at a particular time, I actually sat him down and I wanted us to talk about it, and because I wasn't comfortable anymore. If I go out, my husband will accuse me, oh, why are you coming at this time, and all those things. If he sees me with anybody, even on set, he'll be like, why did you kiss that person? Why did you do this? Why would you do that? Why did you allow that actor to hold you? And he knows my job. He knows my job. We had an agreement. It's not like I had an agreement with him to stop acting after marriage. No, he knows my job. So it got to a point that I had to sit him down. I was like, Larry, I don't understand you anymore. Have I ever given you reason to doubt me? So yes, he has accused me several times of dating almost everybody. Anybody close to me, my husband might accuse me of dating, and that's just the fact that he has insecurity problem. No, my lifestyle is not more than where are we staying? It's not like we live on the island or we're living, no. I'm a very contented person. The Dubai I went to, the Dubai is talking about, was sponsored by Emirates. I am not living above my means. I drive an Acura MDS. It's not like I drive an Acura MDS. Where I stay is not, and I am someone who is very contented. I am not living above my means. When I saw it online, I was shocked. I don't know, I just can't comprehend it. I don't know where he got this, why he formed this, why he fabricated the story. I don't know. I am mentally okay. My husband knows I'm mentally okay. Everybody close to me knows I'm mentally okay. And anybody that wants to do their findings can go ahead and do their findings. I can subject myself to any test just to show that I am 100% okay. But then again, it's just all lies to tarnish my image. I have wanted to leave, a couple of times, but family, close friends, my mom, everybody kept begging me to stay. They were going to talk to him, and that it was going to change. He also, would beg me after, such incident to stay and promise me he was going to change. Yes, when I stayed 2 weeks after the incident, it changes, but after 2 weeks, he goes back to his normal self. Since this whole incident happened, it has not been easy for me to refrain myself from granting interviews and talking about this, because my person has been bashed. A lot of people, have been reading my husband's side of the story, and they believed it hook, line, and sinker. And as a human being, I've wanted to defend myself by also going online, also granting interviews and all that. But my PR team, they've been on my case. They've been saying, Mercy, don't talk. You don't need to talk. Because even if you talk, people are just going to believe what they want to believe. So I promise after this, I am not going to say anything about this whole issue anymore. The case is already in court. I am not going to talk about it anymore. I was like, Larry, what did I do to you? Why would you be beating me this much? I was scared he was going to kill me. He kept punching, he kept kicking me, he was hitting my head on the wall, and he was saying he was going to kill me, that he was going to damage my eyes and my face so that people will not even call me for acting job. At a point he told my makeup artist that by the time he damages my face, when I bring my face for her to make up, she's just gonna say, no, I can't do this face because the face has been damaged beyond what she can. It was just going on. It was like someone who was possessed. I was crying. I was scared. I was begging him. At a point I had to tell him in Yoruba that Larry, Mama, be more for I had to tell him that Larry, Mama, be more for what is it? Can you watch it for? I was so scared. I begged them to do video. I was so scared. Blood was coming at a point. Blood was coming out from my nose. It didn't stop. It kept hitting me. It kept hitting me. When Lumini and Ayomide, my makeup artist, saw that blood was coming out from my nose, I told them to take me to the hospital. That I didn't want to die. I didn't want to die. He said, oh, okay. He said, okay, no problem. He would take me to the hospital. When he saw that Lumini put me in the car, he now said that if he sees any one of them in his car, that he was just going to beat them up, that they should come down from the car. At that point, I quickly came down from the car. I was scared. I didn't even come. I had to stumble out of the car. I was weak. I was dying. Blood was gushing out from my nose. And he came to where I was. He matched me on the face. He kept beating me. He kept beating me. And I didn't know what I did to him. So it was that point I now told him, I was shouting, help, help. I told Lumini that, Lumini, you have securities at your estate gates. Call them. Otherwise, this man is just going to kill me because I don't know what I did to him. It was at that point she ran to the gate to go and call the security people at the gate. When they got there, they actually had to walk him out of the estate because they were like, okay, we don't know what happened between you and your wife, but this is not the right place. This is not the proper way to do it. Just walk out. But I was bleeding. So apparently, Ayomide had called her husband, and I think Lumini called one of Larry Gentry, my husband's friend, Abamog. So they all came there. They all got there at the same time, and they had to take me to the hospital. I rode in Ayomide's husband's car, and they took me to Solid Rock Hospital at Ojodu. I actually thought I was going to die because the blood was just coming out from my nose, from my mouth. I was just so scared, my eyes. And he followed us to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, he just kept shouting and he was going to kill me. And I didn't know what I did to him. I didn't know what I did to him. That was what happened on that day. At the hospital, the doctor gave me a drip and they tried to stop the blood that was coming out from my nose. They gave me injections and they stuffed my nose with cotton wool to stop the blood from coming out. That was on a Monday. The following day was on a Monday. So Lumini and I think Beauty Fix and her husband, they were all with me, and I was there till I think at about 8 o'clock. I had to remove the drip myself because I just felt I needed to report the case to the police because I thought I was gonna die. So I told Lumini to take me to the police station, and she took me to Area F police station where I made the reports, and immediately I made the reports. I made the area commander, and I also reported this. I think there's an arm of the human rights something at the Area F police station. So I wrote a petition, and the area commander called him because I gave her his phone number. They called me, tried to reach him, and she said the ASP, the police officer in charge of the case, should go with me to invite him to the police, so he can to the police station, so he can also tell his own part of the story, or So I went to his hotel at Oregon with the police people, and when we got there, we didn't meet him. He was not there. We met two of his brothers, and the police officer, that's Amaka, ASP Amaka, called him on the phone, and he said he was in Ibadan, he was in Lagos, and I was in Ibadan, I was in Lagos, which I know is a very big lie because the thing just happened, and there's no way he could have just gone to Ibadan that early in the morning, and I don't know what he went to Ibadan to do. So we didn't get him on that Monday, and when we didn't see him at his hotel, we went back to the police station, and the police officers gave me a note to go to the general hospital to treat myself. So I went to the general hospital, and I saw a doctor at the surgical and emergency department, of the general hospital, and they treated me. They gave me drip, they gave me injections, but blood was still coming out. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool, but I'm just a woman who wanted a home. I'm just a woman who wanted to stay married. Yes, I did series of interviews where I praised you. I just couldn't come out and wash my dirty linens in public. I couldn't come out and tell people that, oh, this is what I'm going through. I couldn't come out to paint my husband in black. I couldn't. A lot of things I do by myself. I would actually give the credit to you, Larry. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool for doing that. But like Yorubas would say, I could not just come out and say, oh, my husband has been beating me. I could not just come out and say, oh, my husband is not financially okay. I could not come out and say, oh, I'm the one that's been giving my husband money. No, because I believed that a wise woman built her home, and I was ready. I was ready to use everything I had to build my home and stay in that marriage. That was why I stayed that long. He has never caught me with any man. He has concocted a lot of lies, and yes, he said some people are pushing me. That's a lie. I know my husband very well. My husband lies a lot. I don't know if that is being disrespectful, but my husband tells a lot of lies. During the course of our relationship, he has told me a whole lot of lies, which I later found out. A whole lot of lies. Like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, my husband was in cell for close to a year, for over 7 months. I did not move anywhere. I did not go anywhere. I was in that house. He was in cell for over 7 months. I was in the house. I suffered. I was in the house. I was working back to back to take care of the children, pay the children's school fees, everything. I kept it all to myself. Why would I now want to leave him? Because as he claims, he says all this is makeup. This here right here is almost 4 weeks after the incident. And he says all this is makeup. I'm coughing blood. He says all this is makeup. If I had died, this man would have lied. He would have lied. Now I cannot see properly with this eye because he broke the orbit, and according to the doctor, some of the muscles, that's the eye muscles, are trapped in the broken orbit, and they have to do a surgery to release the muscles. Otherwise, I won't be able to see properly. This is what a man who is supposed to be my husband. This is what a man who is supposed to be my husband. This is what the father of my child did to me. Yet he's not showing any form of remorse. Instead, he's sponsoring lies against me just to tarnish my image, because he has threatened to kill me. He has said all sorts. He has threatened to kill me if I dare to leave him. He has said he's going to damage my image. Like he said it in Yoruba, meaning, oh, you're the reputable, you're the one who has a name to protect, you're the one who has an image to protect. I'm going through pains. I cannot even see properly with these eyes. I can't look up. I can't see properly. Yet, instead of him to even show any kind of remorse, he isn't. So when this incident happened and I saw the way it was going about it, I went to the Lagos State, I think domestic violence and sexual, I think they have a section for such cases. I went to see the Commissioner for Women's Affairs, Mrs. letter.According, and I think that was about the 4th or the 5th day after the incident, or like a week after the incident. I went to see her and I told her everything. So they are on the case, and I also went to the office of the public defender. I saw Mrs. Salami and I explained everything to her, because my husband has been threatening me. I don't feel safe anymore. I don't feel safe with my kids. I feel he's just going to do, I feel he's going to send some people to kill me, because when I think on Thursday after the incident, I went home. I wanted to get some of my things, and my husband sent 3 thugs to the house to prevent me from taking anything from the house. I just wanted to get a few of my things, and more than this, I'm bleeding internally. That's how brutal it was. It broke the orbit, where the eyes is, and the doctor said I need surgery for me to be able to see properly. Okay, maybe I should just tell you briefly what happened, what led to the fight that day. A day before Easter Sunday, I discovered that my husband was sleeping with a girl who actually is or was like a sister to me. We were very close, and I was bitter. I wasn't happy about it, because that wasn't the first time my husband was doing it. My husband has slept with a lot of my PAs. My husband has done a lot of things. Yes, I endured it, and it wasn't easy. But because I hoped and prayed was going to change, that was why I endured it. So I was very bitter, because he promised me that he wasn't going to do it anymore. That was on Saturday, so we had a huge fight on that Saturday. We had an argument, but at a point I had to keep quiet because I didn't want him to get physical. So the following day was a Sunday, which was Easter Sunday, and I cooked. I made yam and fish stew. The children ate. I served him myself, And I told him I was going for Bosse Alao's father's burial, which I had informed him before that day. So I just told him that Easter Sunday was the burial, and I wanted to attend. At first, it was like, oh, that I'm supposed to stay home with the kids and all that. And I was like, I promised this girl that I was going to attend, that if he doesn't mind, we can actually go together because I don't plan staying long at the party. So he said no problem, that I can go ahead and that I can go for the party. And I went to my designer's place, Lumini, because anytime I'm going for events, I usually go to a place to dress up. So if there's any form of adjustment that needs to be done on the outfit I'm wearing, she'll do it. So I went to Lumini's place, and my makeup artist was there. My colleague Mide too was there because she was also, attending that party. And we got to the party very late because we didn't leave on time. We got to the party at about 6:30, and by the time we got there, the party was already, they were already rounding up, and we spent a little time and we went back to Lumini's place. So when we got to Lumini's place, Mide went home, and I was with Lumini and Ayomide, Beauty Fix, my makeup artist. At a point, my husband called me on the phone, and it was like I should come and pick him up, at his office on my way home. And I told him, I was like, Larry, please, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. You're choking me. Like, go home. You can go home. I'll go home soon. Like, I'll get home soon. They should just leave me alone. That was what I told him on the phone. Okay, so he called me on the phone and asked me to come pick him up at his office. And I was like, no, that I wasn't going to come and pick him up because I was still angry, as a result of what I found out, as a result of him sleeping with a girl. I was still very upset about it, which I found out a day before, that Easter Sunday. So I was like, Larry, just leave me alone, just let me be. I'll go home, when I told him I was going to go home soon. I cut the call, and he called me back shortly after, and he was like, oh, you have to come and pick me up. Where are you? I told him I was at Lumini's place, and he started shouting. He was like, what do I mean I'm at Lumini's place? I should come and pick him up. He was shouting on top of his voice, and it was at that point I knew he was getting angry. I said, okay, no problem. I cut the phone and I told Lumini that I have to go. My husband is getting angry. I don't want any wahala, because if he gets very angry and I get home, that, I know what, it's going to be, in for me. When I get home, I know he was going to beat me up, because when he gets very angry and we have an argument, and the argument gets to a certain level, it will just get very physical. So at that point, I stood up, and Lumini walked me, to the door. When we got to the door, we heard a car park, and instantly I told Lumini that I'm sure that's my husband, because I know him very well. I said, I'm sure that's my husband. Yeah, that I've entered while loud. I don't want any wala. At that point, he had gotten to the door, so immediately I opened the door. Larry beats me mercilessly. He kept punching, slapping. He was hitting my head on the wall. He just kept beating me. Everybody was there. Lumini's house help was there. Lumini's younger sister was there. Beauty Fix, my makeup artist, was also there. Everybody was confused. I was begging him. Since the beginning of all this, I have not granted any interview. So I never for once came out to say my husband did not beat me. It was in 2013, and it was about news that broke out at that period that my husband beat me, and we had to do that video at that time. But a few weeks ago, I never came out to say my husband did not beat me. He actually beat me. He did beat me. Yes, he does. Because I just wanted a home. Because I loved him. Because every time he beats me, he begs. He gets family members to beg me. He gets his close friends to beg me. He gets my close friends to beg me, and he promises that he's gonna change. But he never did. I prayed. I fasted. I hoped he was gonna change. But he never did. He never did. My husband is a violent person. He's someone who, when he gets angry, gets physical. So it's not just about beating me, his wife, Mercy. It's about him getting physical with anybody when he gets violent. He has actually beaten a house help of mine before, Oluchi, that I was even outside the country when that incident happened, and the girl had to go to the police station close to us, that's the police station, to get the police to arrest him. So my husband he's just the kind of person that when he's angry, he gets very violent and he gets physical. And then again, aside the fact that I just wanted a home, and because I loved him, and because I hoped and prayed that it was going to change, I stayed because of my children. I didn't want to be moving from one man to the other. I stayed because of my children. Then again, a lot of people look up to me. Oh, they say, oh, Mercy, you're a role model. Oh, we respect you because you're married. You know, so I didn't want to disappoint a lot of people. Yes, people watching me right now can say I was foolish to have endured everything. But God knows. God sees my heart that I just wanted a home. You know, and you know, a lot of people already have opinion about actresses. You know, they already have the opinion that, oh, we don't want to stay under a man's roof, and you know, a lot of things. So it just wasn't easy for me to walk away. It wasn't easy for me to walk away. That was why I stayed. After this whole thing happened, I met with my husband's younger brother, and I said, look, this man is just going to kill me one day. He's not ready to get help. He's not ready to, you know, maybe go for therapy, you know, in regards to his anger, so, you know, he can know how to manage his anger and all that. So I told him, I said, look, what I'm going to do now, because this last beating was brutal. He almost killed me. He almost killed me. I actually thought I was going to die. So I said to him that I don't feel safe anymore. You know, for a very long time, I've been living in fear in that house, because any little argument turns to, you know, me being beaten up by my husband, even right in front of my children and my domestic staff, you know, even neighbors, every time they hear us, you know, fighting and all that. I just got tired of the whole thing. This wasn't one. I was just scared for my life, because a lot of people have died in that process. I actually thought I was going to die in this last one. So I just wanted to feel safe. That was why I moved my things out. This is it. I'm still coughing blood, and blood is still coming out from my nose. This is like 4 weeks after the incident, and this blood is just, at times it's even way You know, he gave me antibiotics to stop it, and that was it. So the doctor at the general hospital gave me a note to go to St. Solomon Healthcare Center to go and do some series of scans so they can determine what exactly, you know, it was damaged or why I was bleeding and if I had any bleeding internally. So I did a lot of tests. I did a brain CT scan, I did chest scan, I did a lot of tests. I have never cheated on Larry, and he knows it. And that's the most painful part of all this. If he had shown a bit of remorse after what he did to me, you know, maybe I'm a woman, and he did not. Instead, he went online, started granting, you know, interviews, started fabricating lies, you know, hideous lies just to tarnish my image. You know, he went on saying, you know, I've cheated on him several times and that I never cheated on him, never. He came up with those lies so as to maybe get people's sympathy or maybe to justify, you know, what he did. And that's why I told him to come out with proof. It is not enough that you're alleging that he did this. You should come out with it. He should, you know, show his proof. And he said a lot of things. He said a lot of things. And he said a lot of damaging things. And the day I read those things online, I was completely broken. I never knew I was married to my enemy, because only your enemy can do that. He lied I was mentally unstable, that I don't take care of my parents. He said a lot of things, that he has caught me with men. He has done a lot of things. And all those things, they said he doesn't have a proof. He just said all those things so as to defame my character. I've never cheated on him, even as a single girl. When I was a single girl, before I got married, I never had any scandal. Anybody can Google it. I never had any scandal. So why would he now say that I was cheating on him with different men and none of this so-called, you know, and none of these so-called relationships or whatever got out? Is it possible for someone like me to cheat on my husband several times and he kept catching me? Is it even possible? I have never cheated on you, Larry. If you're watching this, your conscience will judge you. I have been supporting you. A lot of people think I married you because of your money. They don't know the story. They don't know the story. They don't know anything. I read a lot of things online and I just shake my head because only God knows. Larry, I give you my money. A lot of times, I gave you my money just 2 months ago. I gave you money to buy tickets for your daughters, so as to fly your daughter who was on the sick bed abroad, Larry. I gave you 260,000 naira. That is just one of those times I've given you money. A lot of people think I married you because of your money. Larry, you know, I know. People very close to us know. They know that it's not like you ever gave me money. Larry, you've never given me money to even shoot a movie. All the movies I've shot with my money, I've had to work hard. I had my child, I had my son through CS. I was on set not even up to 40 days after I had my baby because I needed the money. I don't know why I don't know why someone who claims to love me will go to the extent of wanting to ruin my reputation, wanting to ruin my image. An image I have worked so very hard to build. Larry, the fact is that you beat me. You've always been beating me. Everybody knows it. 3 years ago, I took you to Area F where you signed an undertaking that you were not going to beat me again. It was 3 years ago. And ever since then, you've beaten me several times. Yes. I know people will say, oh, Mercy, you're a fool for staying that long. Yes, I agree that I'm a fool. Yes, I agree that I shouldn't have endured for that long. Yes.